It hurts.
I think the signal has arrived.
Is that the signal?
It's the signal.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Island Origins Live. Of course, you can always find Island Origins in print, online, on your television sometimes, and of course right here live every Tuesday evening on Jamaicans.com and on Island Origins Facebook page. I'm Calibe, and this is Mr. Sexy Man, aka David Muir. And this evening we are talking about some fabulous people doing some fabulous things as usual. We've titled the episode this evening Change Makers, because we're talking to the people who actually put their money where their mouth is when they say they want to do good for the community. That's what they do. How are you doing this evening though, Mr. Sexy Man?
I'm doing spectacular. Welcome everyone. Just as a reminder, if you are watching, and share it with your friends so that they can watch us too. And remember to listen to the show so you can win some fantastic tickets. And also pay attention because...
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're going to do the specifics this evening. I think today what we want to do, because we have these two fabulous tickets to American Friends of Jamaica that we are giving away. They are $350 a pop.
$350 a pop.
The American Friends of Jamaica, it's called the Jamaica Charity Gala, right? Fancy, swanky affair. It's next week, Saturday. It's $350 a ticket.
We heard that the first time.
I don't know if you heard $350. So we have two tickets to give away to one person. If you would like to be the recipient of that, you must be on our mailing list. So you're going to go to islandoriginsmag.com. Something is going to pop up and say join the mailing list. Once you are on that list, you have a chance.
I thought this was an interest of the show. You're going all the way to the competition.
Yes, I'm just telling everybody. All right. No, yeah, from the beginning. All right, so I won't keep going. Yeah. But tell a friend to sign up too. All right.
Yeah, and before we get to introductions of our guests, I'm just saying to everybody, remember to share and also please ask questions. When we meet our guests, you want to know stuff just like we're going to ask them questions. We want to know what you want to ask them too. So.
And today it's very important to do, because what we're talking about is actually giving back to our community and helping people, and you need to know how to do that. You need to do it proactively. So charity begins at home, and the work of Stacey Jan Oddman with CARISTEM Endowment Fund and Barron Channer with the American Friends of Jamaica is changing lives for the better. On Tuesday, April 3rd, which is today, we are learning more about the good these organizations are doing and what we can do to help. So we're going to start off with Dr. Stacey Jan Oddman. I got it right this time.
Yes, you did.
All right, she's the former chief of family medicine at Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale, and she's currently a practicing family physician. She's the first generation American born of Jamaican parents in her family, and the first to complete a college education from her household. Jamaican.
I'm a Jamaican.
Yeah. We need those.
Now she's the founder of the CARISTEM Endowment Fund, providing scholarships to students of Caribbean descent enrolled in the College of Arts, Sciences, and Education with an interest in pursuing a STEM degree. Welcome to the show, Dr. Oddman.
Thank you so much.
And before we introduce Barron, I'm going to ask you to just do a little bit of a deeper introduction of yourself and what's important to you.
Okay, well, I'm a family physician. I work at Holy Cross Hospital. I'm a part of their medical group there. I've been with them for 13 years now. I also sit on the board of directors, the foundation board of directors for Florida International University, which is my alma mater. I did my undergrad there, was a chemistry major. So about 3 years now, I was thinking and saying to my friends forth.
Before you go into the story, just a little short. I'm gonna get you into your story. Yeah. So we're just doing the intro now.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna. I know the interesting story, so we want to get deep into it. So before we do that,
you have to let me know.
No.
Don't feel beat
up.
No, man. This is the elevator page.
Boof me already. I would just start.
It was a gentle.
It was a nudge. A Calibe nudge kind of
gentle, sorry. Love you. All right, so Barron Channer is CEO at Woodwater Group. It's a private Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's a private investment company with holdings in real estate and technology. A native of Jamaica, Barron was raised in Miami. He's active in South Florida civic life, including involvement as a board member for the American Friends of Jamaica, Nine Foundation's Miami program, Perez Art Museum Miami, Baptist South Miami Hospital, the Miami Foundation, and the Urban Land Institute South Florida Council.
Hold on, pause.
I know.
Breathe.
Where do you have time
Breathe.
to live your life? You do too much.
Get up and walk.
That's the you should ask me the question. I'll wait for that phase. That's a conversation.
Okay, so the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I'm an investor focused primarily on real estate and technology. For the sake of this evening, and thank you all for having me, I happen to be a board member for the American Friends of Jamaica. I have been involved with the Jamaica Charity Gala since its found in 2005. We brought it to Miami from New York, extended it from New York to Miami, and joined the board a couple of years ago. And so I'm a lover of Jamaica. I try to find ways through my work and through my civic engagement just to do the things I'm passionate about or be exposed to things I want to learn about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very nice. And you're very busy. Okay. Yes. All right, so let's actually get started with the very basic question. What is philanthropy? People think about philanthropy and they think you have to be rich to do something to give back to your community. Break that down for us. What is philanthropy and how can everyday people be involved, as well as rich people?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm rich, okay? I mean, I'm a family physician. It's not one of the most lucrative fields in medicine. But just through my work, I feel that I'm helping others. But I've always felt that you should always be doing something. To whom much is given, much is expected, right? And required, right, exactly. So I'm giving back not only through monetary means with the scholarship, but I volunteer. I've always done things in the community. I volunteer at a community health center called Light of the World Clinic, which is a majority of Latino patients who are in an underserved area in Fort Lauderdale and don't have insurance. And I was doing that, actually I've been doing it for about at least 5 years now. And we go on a Saturday morning and, see patients and
so even if it's doing things.
So even if it's it doesn't have to be. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a monetary giving.
Right.
It can be your time.
Right.
And to be honest, I think your time says a lot.
Right.
Because your time is precious, and if you can give someone your time, that says a lot.
So I have to jump in. I'm curious. I do a lot of things too, and because I'm self-centered and like myself a lot, I try to do things that I enjoy. When you say you're doing this Saturday morning stuff, it don't sound like an enjoyable thing. How do you get up and do that? Do you enjoy it?
I do. Well, that's the thing. I do enjoy it. And you know what? It helps me to practice.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not
and
there
it
yet.
helps me to, actually, I get something out because it keeps me up to date with my Spanish, right? Because,
it's a benefit. I like that.
There's a benefit to it too. I know, but
that.
I enjoy because they're so grateful. And when I come in there, and first of all, they're not expecting me to speak Spanish, and and I do. If you drop me in the middle of a Latin country, I'm fine.
Yeah.
All right. So when I'm able to speak to them in their language and help them out, these people are so appreciative of that, and it's a gratifying.
I love
experience.
that it's gratifying because you
it's
can't sustain it if not. So I love to hear that. That's just
thank you.
But that's the beauty of philanthropy, right? Is it's folks believe that should be burdensome. The idea is for you to find something you're passionate about that can also benefit others. So if you like photography, it could be helping abused kids learn to express themselves through photography. And you would take great joy, even though you're exposed to tremendous pain, you're bringing your joy to them, right? It's time, talent, and your treasure, right? So some of it's your money, but it could very well just be your talent, something you're automatically passionate about, you would talk to people about for hours freely, and you just choose to put yourself in the presence of people who don't have the opportunity to get the enlightenment that you have from what you're doing.
Time, talent, treasure. I love that.
Yeah,
that's
what it is.
That's a question for a test later.
Well, you already put it out there like that, so no. But you know, I've heard you, Barron, at one of the AFJ, American Friends of Jamaica.
Yeah.
One of the AFJ events before, saying that even though, you know, I think is your thing party with a purpose? Like that's one of
that has been the phrase in the past.
Right.
We've used it, yeah.
Right. So you have wealthy people, and that's one of the great things about this organization. You have wealthy people who have the resources, kind of giving money, and then you guys translate that into activity for other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's actually talk about what AFJ does.
Sure. Well, first, it does a bunch of things, but at heart, it's a grant-giving foundation.
Right.
So the organization has been in existence for about 35 years, founded in New York. Individuals who had a love for Jamaica, were successful in business in the U.S., may have had a second or a third home, and decided they wanted to do things to give back. Over the years, the organization progressed to a point where most of the individuals who've been U.S. ambassadors to Jamaica became members of it as a way of giving back. And we have the pride of saying we're probably the only nonprofit in the U.S. in which you will have in one board sitting, I'm talking active work on a Saturday, going to Jamaica, Trenchtown, other places in Jamaica, 5 individuals who've been the representative of the United States to Jamaica, decades after they've been involved in Jamaica, no one paying attention, no cameras around, and folks are there volunteering. So at heart, we're a grant-giving organization, and the goal is to be very creative about raising funds that we then in turn around and give to charities in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, just today actually, timed appropriately for your show, I suspect, we announced that we are awarding roughly 345,000 USD to 15 charities. That's on top of roughly 250,000 that to date we facilitated to go to Jamaica. And so we operate in many ways. We will raise funds through the events that we have or through engagement with individuals or corporations and give those out in the form of grants. Or we will work with individuals who may say, I have a passion for a particular area, STEM, young girls, young boys, education, and we will help them identify organizations that meet their passion and facilitate their ability to donate to that organization. And for those who live in the U.S., benefit from the tax deductibility, because that helps you. And I was actually just telling a friend the other day, he said, I don't need a tax deduction to give. I said, well, you don't need it, but if you actually had it, you could give more. Right. To more people. Right. But at heart, we're a grant-giving organization, and we have 2 signature events, one coming up on the 14th of April in downtown Miami. But we're active throughout the year, and we're working with folks. We've helped prominent U.S. DJs of American descent find things to give to. We've helped athletes. We've helped individuals who want to support their school, and their school has no alumni association because it was a primary school, to find ways to raise programs and give to them and take advantage of our status and our infrastructure in Jamaica. Right.
Okay, so this is Dr. Stacy's future.
Yes, I'm here thinking, I'm like, wow.
We can collaborate. We're doing STEM.
Trying to get there.
Well, we could find you your counterpart. We're the folks that are doing robotics in Jamaica. There are summer programs for young women in STEM, and if there's a gender focus. So there's a bubbling audience of people who are focused on what you're in your area, but operate in Jamaica. Right?
Okay.
So we could just connect you to them just to be connected.
Yes, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So the beautiful thing here is that connections are happening.
Yeah.
But your organization, as you said, is like, yours is how old?
35.
AFJ is 35. So we're starting out. We're starting out.
The embryonic
right. You're still around a year old. And so you're hearing some things now. Get the big important people who can bring attention and bring support along with them into your activities. So talk about where you are, because we're seeing what 35 years old looks like. Let's look at what
I've done so far.
Stage looks like, and you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
For 1 year old.
Well, I mean, it kind of. I don't know if we didn't mention Social Stitch before, but I started this little organization called Social Stitch, which was birthed out of me wanting to just get these wonderful people that I know all these young professionals in the area together on a Friday and have drinks and, have a good time and network and so forth. And I had an event in 2014, somewhere on South Beach. And afterwards, everybody said, "Oh, wow, Stacy, when are you going to do this again?" And lo and behold, again was, how many, 4 years? Yeah, 3 years, actually last year. Yeah, so last year, 3 years later. So, in that interim, I was asked to sit on the board of, for FIU. And last year, my grandmother, who I was very, very close to, passed away. And, when things like that happen, you start thinking about certain things and so forth. And I said, you know what? I really need to do something with Social Stitch. And I said, since I'm on the board, I would like to give back. And my way of paying it forward was by starting CARISTEM, right? So CARISTEM is this scholarship. It's for students who are the first generation in their household to go to college, but they have to be pursuing a degree in any of the STEM majors, right? Which is huge.
And you're saying that they have to be a Florida resident, is that correct?
Yes, they do. That's part of it's a part of the first generation scholarships under, FIU. And yes, that's one of the requirements. They have to be a Florida resident. They have to, of course, show or demonstrate financial need. So they have to apply for the FAFSA, the federal application for financial student aid. And they have to be eligible for a Pell Grant. So that, through those things, through those things, those are the criteria that demonstrates the financial need.
And how would somebody who is listening now find out about your program? How would somebody who is interested in being a recipient of this?
So FIU has a link that they have. Yes, they have a link. FIU has a link. I don't know the exact link, but I know that the students, because I had asked about that, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have a link that we just go on and you can click through for your necessary school, College of Arts and Sciences, and they'll come up, I guess, and you just." So
for my clarification, it's a scholarship to go to FIU, or can you go to a different school? Oh,
no. Well, you have to be an FIU student.
Okay.
Yes, you have to
enrolled.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think you can be part time, if I remember correctly. I think you have to at least have 6 credits, so that's considered part time. And a minimum of a 2.0, so that's average.
Fair.
But it's fair. But it helps. You never know, the 2.0. If that can turn into 4.0. Exactly.
And so it's meant to help these students who are already kind of in there but struggling to just ease the burden a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, 91% of students who are starting out at FIU, right, are dependent on financial aid, rather. So when I heard of that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's huge, right? 91%. And 53%, more than half of them, right, of the freshmen are first generation in their household to go to college. So just think about that. So, these students really have a drive. They want to succeed, right? And I was one of those students myself. So when I, started out at FIU, my mom was a single mom at the time, right? I was the eldest of 3. And I always had a job going to school in undergrad. Sometimes I had 2 jobs, right? And I had that drive. I was just determined that I said education is my way to make something of myself and uplift myself and my family and so forth. And there's millions of, kids out there like that. So I really thought that this is the way I want to do it, by paying it forward with CARISTEM.
That's awesome. Like, it's no longer passing the hat around and having a party and getting the money out of your friends' pockets.
But you hit the point. There's an undertone there, which you talked about philanthropy versus charity. The reality is that Caribbean people, or just minorities in general, happen to be amongst the most charitable if you take into account the percentage of their income that they give, right? You think about the fact that whether it be given to your church, whether it be sending remittances to your cousin or your auntie, whether it be just simply giving money to the neighbor down the street, $20, or your cousin. So you're supporting a lot of people. That's charity. The difference when you get to philanthropy, it's the strategy around it of amplifying and extending your resources. And one of the things that's hidden in what was just said is that's a scholarship program. She could have, put together some friends, ran a whole process, screen it, have lawyers volunteer hours to review applicants, but she found a platform that she trusted, and they already have people that are doing this. She brought energy, enthusiasm, engaged her friends, got money, established a criteria, and supported it. So now her effort is amplified more, because they would have spent 4 or 5 months to find these students. The student wouldn't have heard about it, right? And that's really the difference, which is what I try to tell people is being charitable is wonderful, being philanthropic is sustainable, and that sustainability is what amplifies what you're doing and allows it to potentially live beyond you. And case in point, and I'll stop with this. I was looking to start my own fundraiser, and I was introduced to American Friends of Jamaica in New York. Just a friend asked me to go to the event, and I said, wow, they're already doing what I want to do, and they've done it for, at that point, 20 some odd years, and it looks as if there's a tremendous amount of integrity. I went to them and said, I will plan the event, you finance the event, and give us transparency in how you distribute the funds. And that turned into, now 15 years later, I'm on the board and actively involved in shaping the organization. So, but it was just an interest in raising money, and not competing against all the other folks who are here who are doing things at $50, which I support. I said, well, if someone is willing to pay $300, let's go and find those people.
Yeah, buddy, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So we heard about how people qualify for the CARISTEM endowment. How is it that the grantees would qualify for EFG?
Absolutely. Well, we run a grant process every year, and you can be, if you're doing something that benefits people in Jamaica, wherever you're from, you can qualify for a grant from us. And so our grant cycle, our grant applications are typically announced in and around the November timeframe. And so you can go to www.theafj.org. We advertise in print media in Jamaica, primarily the Jamaica Gleaner. And you can pick a grant application online, complete it, and submit it. Give us an understanding of what it is you're doing. We focus primarily on healthcare, education, and economic empowerment, but in reality that covers almost anything you can think about doing in philanthropy and in charitable work. And you just have to convince us and know that you're likely to be competing against 75 others. You probably have a 1 in 6, 1 in 7 chance, which is reasonably good. And the grants are going to range from, you tell us how much you would like, but the grants usually are in the range of 5,000 to 25, 30,000. But it's and so we just announced, if you go to the website now, you'll see the organizations that we've given to. You can also see prior years.
And it's a long list.
It's a long list. It's a long list. And that's our discretionary grant program. Now, we also have folks who will come to us and say, I'd like to give to this school in Jamaica or this organization, and that's donor advised, and there we will take it as a recommendation, a strong recommendation, if the organization vets in terms of its just transparency, legality, all the other things.
I wonder, are there any limitations? And sorry, Stacey,
Yeah,
you have a question. You go first, and then I'll go
So
after.
it's only the things that you're doing or the organization is doing is only in Jamaica. Do you do anything locally?
No, we're focused only on Jamaica.
Only on Jamaica.
Now we will work with organizations. Oftentimes people confuse that for being, you have to be an organization in Jamaica. There are doctors and dentists and nurses and others in the U.S. who are going to Jamaica to do something. Everything from counseling abused young women to surgical treatments. They will apply for grants, and we have funded many of those organizations. Almost every year we're funding some American groups that are headed to Jamaica to do something.
That's amazing.
Some American Friends of Jamaica. All right, sorry.
Right. So my question is similar to yours, but I was asking more about, because even in the area of STEM, like one of my good friends from high school days does a program in Jamaica where he brings Jamaican youth to the States and competes in these robotic competitions and so on. So I do know that there are the, and you may not know all of the winners of the grants and so on. Are there any organizations of that nature you guys have funded recently? that are doing that type of work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are. And then folks who are bringing folks here, because we also fund scholarships, so there are students from Jamaica who are going to the U.S. funded by scholarships that
have been through your program in some way.
They were introduced to them. The idea is to improve, build a stronger Jamaica. And we think the way you do that is to make the people stronger. And the people aren't always going to be on the island, but that's where we want folks who are connected to the island now. And sometimes they may leave to go pursue their education.
All right. So I'm going to throw something a little political.
Yeah, please.
It's just David being David. So here's the thing. Just recently, the Minister of Education from Jamaica was here in the U.S.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Miramar?
In Miramar.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was speaking, and he says a lot of great things. He said actually one of the few ministers actually I'm attracted to his platform.
Yeah.
Really interesting. But a part of my knowledge, having grown up and gone to school in Jamaica, is that there is this disparity in the levels of education available to. Is there a movement within AFJ to help balance that out? Is there a way that I'm getting somewhat political, but I just wonder, is there a thought? Sorry, I have to, that's me. Yeah.
I don't think it's a political issue. I think, it's an issue, and anything that's an issue for the country ends up touching against the politicians that are there. But it's not a partisan issue.
It's not a part, no, it's not.
It's not, right? It's not. In that sense, absolutely. And so what AFJ is doing now, and mind you, we're a grant-given organization. It's about strengthening Jamaica, and Jamaica can be strengthened in many ways. So we don't tell people we don't do something that can benefit Jamaica. That said, if you ask us our priority, our priority when given full discretion is to support early education. Because our view is, yes, it would be nice to have all education be the same, but it's most important and most impactful at the early stages. And so if you can give a young child, even pre-6 years old, good enough education, you give them a chance to battle to normalcy despite the fact of having disadvantages. But if you don't help them early, then almost nothing you do will get them back to being even. So we're investing heavily in early education and a lot of teach the teachers stuff, because you have to fix the infrastructure, right? It's not about bad teachers. No. It's about just not having the same tools and resources and having to figure out how to overcome that. Technology, educational models. One of the things that we're doing in that regard is it's getting back to the talent piece. And this is where I think the diaspora in general could be far more impactful. Whatever you think about politics, and our experience is always, folks are apprehensive about Jamaican charity because their perception of the government. Never mind, the government's changed back and forth, and people have the same perception. So you'll never help Jamaica if you worry about the government, right? And I have no opinion about any individual government, but we have so many people who are lawyers, who are technologists, who are doctors, who are educators. And their counterparts are there and organized many times in unions or groups looking to improve themselves. There's an opportunity for you with, let's presume that you're exposed in the U.S. to either better resources or more advanced thinking in your profession, or newer thinking. You can be a part of the solution just with your talent by being connected to your peers there and helping them learn about crowdfunding or learn about new, scientific treatments. And we're telling you that's the easiest way to start, because it just takes your time and interest.
And that's a personal one-to-one way of doing things. And we had this discussion last year around the time of the Gala. We have political discussions around here, right? And the question was, it was kind of like, is it better to be in the mud helping, or is it better to, what I believe AFJ does is raises money and then gives it to the people who are doing the boots on the ground work, and that has to happen in order for them to be effective. I know we need some money to be effective, right? So that's different from the boots on the ground way to live, and I think there's a place for both, and both have to be active. You had said that the cycle for your grant application begins in November.
We open up usually around November,
Right.
Close.
Ours is per semester. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Per semester.
Okay.
No, I thought you were asking because you.
Yeah, you didn't finish it. It opens in November and closes.
We close it usually around the February, March time frame.
Okay, so in the winter kind of.
Because we're making our decisions
Right.
in the late March, early April.
Okay. And then with this
Ours
one-
is per semester, so long as the funds are available,
Right.
Yeah.
which is what we are working on. So I had
you're gonna bring in some high-powered
I had
people
my
now and
first
stuff.
2 recipients last month. I was quite proud. I presented them at my last Social Stitch event. One is Jamaican, like myself. He's a young gentleman, Alan Pottinger, and he's studying biology. Wants to be a psychiatrist. His parents are from Port Antonio, Jamaica.
Heard of there.
Yes. And then the other gentleman, his name is Luis Heran, born in Cuba, and he's just studying biomedical engineering. He's in his 3rd year of biomedical engineering. So when I saw them and in reality touched them, I said, oh my gosh, it's
These
real.
are
I actually
people,
did
right?
this,
Yeah.
And they had to
Fantastic.
write essays. That's another part of the criteria. They had to write essays and discussing and demonstrating their Caribbean connection,
Right.
and also talk about what they're doing in the community and so forth, because that's a requirement as well, helping
That's
the disadvantaged.
I love what you're doing. But there's a little bit of, as I hear it, I'm like, oh, because I remember being a student and having to fill out these
Yes, you always
things.
have
I'm
to
like,
write an
oh my
essay.
gosh,
Yeah.
so much work to get $200.
But you know what?
But
Yeah.
believe me, I did it, and they helped. And when you're not borrowing the money and you're paying for school yourself,
Yeah.
every dollar
That
counts.
counts.
Literally
Exactly.
every
Exactly.
dollar.
And when we come back from the commercial break, we're going to hear more about those students and what it is that their reaction is to getting this nice chunk of change in their pocket, right?
Exactly.
So this episode is brought to you, of course, by DMR Media, who is doing this fabulous production for us. All these camera switchings that you're seeing going on, all the pretty graphics and so forth, are all coming from DMR Media. That's Magic and Judy. Their contact information is at the bottom of the screen. If you want any kind of setup like this, if you have an event that you're trying to cover, if you want to do a live setup like we're doing right now, they will come and do everything for you from the entire production, pre-production to post-production. They have everything to get that done for you. It's dmr4u.com. And moving right along, our next sponsor for this evening is Nikki Lopez Creative. Her website is nikkilopez.com. And Nikki is like a social media guru, right? She's a person that's responding to all of your messages while we're talking. She does this professionally, so she will actually build your social media following. She will take care of everything for you online. She builds websites, she does graphics. She is just like phenomenal woman, right? With the pink dreadlocks. And finally, of course, we are promoting our own Taste the Islands experience coming up June 2nd at the Fort Lauderdale Historical Society. It is all inclusive, all VIP. We have chefs from all over the Caribbean coming, as well as, of course, our hosts of Taste the Islands. It's all gourmet Caribbean food and spirits, including rum and beer and wine and juice and tropical juice.
Calibe's about to start a new song about the show.
It's all fabulous. Don't worry about me. Mr. Sexman is trying to steal my little 2-minute spot. Anyway, all right. So that's it. We want to remind you, if you want to win those tickets to American Friends of Jamaica's Gala, this is going to be an ongoing thing. So you have until, I'm going to say next week, Wednesday, which is, what's the date?
The 12th?
The 12th.
No, the 11th.
11th.
Yeah,
The 11th.
the
The gala is on the 14th, so we're
so-
going to give it like 3 days, so you make sure you check your email, right? But we're giving away tickets. You're going to sign up as a subscriber to the website, and we'll choose one of those subscribers by the 11th of April. You can't enter more than one time unless you have more than one email address, but tell friends to sign up. That's how you're going to increase your odds. And if the friend wins because they've signed up, you and them go, right? That's the deal. That's the deal. That's the deal that you make with them. But just make sure you're signing up as much as possible and sign up some more people so you can win this 2 times $350.
Awesome.
That's
Right.
not a little bit of money.
And then the additional bonus is that both Calibe and the Sexy Man will be there. And I'm pretty certain that Barron Channer will be there as well.
I think they're auctioning Barron as a bachelor. They're auctioning Barron.
Alison Hines will be there.
That's a rumor that I'm starting right now.
And the great performance by Alison
Alison
Hines.
Hines, yes.
DJ Richie
And
D.
DJ Richie D.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And I every time I've gone, I've seen some celebrities like popping up, so you don't know who
Always.
else might be there. So you definitely want to go in those tickets.
And I gotta say one more thing about the AFJ Gala. It's really great to go for the experience of it. Like, forget who's performing. It's a heck of an experience. Trust me, if you've never been, you probably give more than 350 because it's very encouraging for you to give more when you're there.
They have pledge drives.
Yeah,
and,
but even just give the 350, come, and the experience is worth it. It's just a fabulous evening. It's a fabulous evening.
Right. And we're gonna ask about what else you can do even if you don't have the 350. But let's finish the question that we were talking about before. What was it the students felt like when they were receiving the awards?
Oh wow! So they, I had them get up and give a little talk and a little speech, acceptance speech, and so forth. And I think what stood out most, they were very appreciative for the funds. A lot of them, they say they were doing it for their family. And what really touched my heart was when Alan spoke first, and he said, I want to do what Dr. Oddman is doing and be able to give back later on. And I was trying to fight the tears. I'm saying, oh my gosh, she said that. So it's about making an impact in someone's life, and that really makes a difference. So just from the fact that he said that, chances are he's going to do it. I think he will follow through, and it's an inspiration.
I think, even to interrupt you, that the friend of mine who brought you to my attention, which is Simone Champagne, who is watching, by the way. Hello, Simone. So thank you for bringing Stacey to my attention, even though Stacey and I have met more than one
years ago. Yeah.
I wasn't aware what you were doing, and so she reached out to me. She said, "Hey, somebody's doing really good in the community. I think you might want to put her on your show." And so it was like, but that speaks to that, and so what you're creating is a legacy, and it's that's such a powerful thing to do in your life.
And can I tell you, as much as you're saying, "Oh, I'm a baby and I'm just starting with how much of the $1,000," I can bet you any money that the good that you felt hearing that is equal to or more impacting than the $350 or the $3,000 or the $300. That
makes it all worthwhile, and it's like, I can't give up now. I have to keep going.
Right. So the point is just to give. Whatever you're doing is just to give and participate. Time, talent, and treasure. Yes, love it. All right. So, Barron, back to the American Friends of Jamaica. Do we want to hear about the gala first, or what do we want to?
I'd love to hear about the gala because I think that's so relevant. It's in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks. Wow. Let's hear what's happening. Are there any seats left? Is it like sold out?
No, there are seats left. Going fast. Go to theafj.org and you'll see the link there for the event.
Nikki, you got that?
theafj.org.
Thank you.
I think we're _AFJ on Twitter and AFJ Cares on Instagram.
And then AFJ Cares.
Yeah, we couldn't get that on Twitter. We're working on that, however. But the event is. Think about the event as a elegant gala infused with Jamaican culture. So the full spectrum of it, the visual experience of what you see, the food that you eat. We have a whole team that all the way down to the condiments, the spices. We go to these hotels and we take them to the nth degree of their willingness to cooperate with us to use Jamaican condiments. Our spirits sponsored Diageo. We try to get all of the drinks they have that are familiar to Jamaican folks. Our music, so full range. This year we happen to have as an entertainer Alison Hines, Caribbean, but we have Richie D who's going to be playing the full spectrum. If you ever heard him, he can play everything from rockers to the latest of dance hall. We also celebrate amazing people, and typically we celebrate someone who's prominent in Jamaica, who is doing big things, and then we celebrate folks who are influential here in South Florida. So this year we have as our international humanitarian Diane Stewart, who Stewart Automotive, Jamaican businesswoman in Jamaica. I believe the Mercedes-Benz, so the Mercedes-Benz dealership, they have the franchise for Jamaica. We are also celebrating Eddie Edwards, who I did not know his name was Carson. Nice name. Carson Eddie Edwards.
That's right.
He's a lignum vitae vanguard. And so those are folks who we are just proud of for their legacy here in South Florida. He is one. We're also celebrating Felicia Hatcher of the Code Fever Black Tech Week. And so just been a millennial Jamaican descent who's
White
just been
House
pushed.
Champion of Change.
White House Champion of Change, and a whole host of things, and has been really pushing innovation. And so, as you can see, it's a range. We're not just celebrating the folks who are popular to everyone. We're not just celebrating the folks who are wealthy.
Right.
We're trying to recognize people across the board. Last year, we celebrated. A couple of years ago, we celebrated Superintendent Runcie of Broward County School System.
Last
Last year
year,
was
Cheryl Winter.
Cheryl Winter.
Love her.
And so we've in the past we've done Coach Francis, track coaches. We've celebrated companies, and so we try to create a very high quality experience that we think one generates significant proceeds. There's a commerce to fundraising, and so we're fortunate to do that. But two, we want the experience to be an amazing experience that's a once in a year type of experience, right? Almost everyone of modest means can spend a couple $100s for something over the year. The question is it just New Year's Eve, or is it New Year's Eve and something else?
Right.
And we know we can't beat New Year's Eve, so
Right.
we like to get that something else
Right.
that you can come to,
Right.
right? And we start off 6:30. It goes from 6:30 usually until at least 12:30. It's gone until 2 o'clock before. So silent auction, tremendous networking. We'll have about 300 people there, and as David said, you may see Shaggy, you may see the CEO of Jamaica National, you may see ex-Minister Watt, you may see a past or a future Prime Minister, and you may see just some friends that you grew up with around town. So it's a wonderful event. But most importantly, it raised significant proceeds.
Right.
And we usually have a pledge drive that evening, so we give people the opportunity to support one of many causes. This year, I believe we are running a pledge drive to support Kingston Public Hospital, which needs significant support. And unlike the U.S., tax revenue in the U.S. is tremendous, so you can have a wonderful health care because our system collects a significant amount of corporate and individual taxes. In Jamaica, the public institutions all need tremendous support because the state of the economy has not put them in a position to be as well supported as they need to be. In the hospital of all things, rich or poor, we all need it.
Right. Okay, so while David is looking, if there are questions coming in from the audience,
Nikki,
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you one more question.
Sure.
So that's for the people who actually can find turn the sofa over and find $350. But for those who only find like 25 or 50, what can they do just in general in terms of just donating, number one? And you talked about the silent auction. So if you're a business owner, if you're a photographer perhaps with nice big fancy pictures, right? How can you give things that will in turn, put some more money onto people's pockets?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, the event is just one opportunity to connect with us, right? So we'd love for you to be there if you can make it. If you cannot make it there are a million other ways to support Jamaica, and many of them through the American Friends of Jamaica. So we have a causes section on our website. So what we've done is some of the organizations we meet in Jamaica, their biggest challenge is not being able to expose themselves to the diaspora to be able to make an appeal for money, right? And so they're left to go to the few organizations, ourselves included, who actually go to Jamaica. So we're starting to bring those organizations onto the website, allow you to go to the website, search for them, find them, and donate directly to them, whether you're talking to Barron or anybody else, or or not. So you can go to causes, and that's everything from $1 to $1 million. We'll take whatever. If you have a passion about something and you have friends and you think you can raise $500 in Jamaica is a tremendous amount for folks who are needy, right? If you can bring together friends and you're someone who's an influencer, you're passionate about something, but you don't know how to pursue that passion, reach out to us and say to us, I'm interested in supporting, so-and-so. I'd like to do something in honor of my grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, whoever. And we will help you find something that you and your colleagues can donate to that we know to be fully functional and effective, but also matches your passion, right? And then you also may say, listen, that's a lot of work. I trust you all, and I know you're going to do well. So you can support and contribute to our Jamaica Strong Fund. And that's basically our grant fund. This year, we've given out $350,000, $345,000. That process, that's not my cousin, that's not anybody's cousin. That's a competitive process. 86 applicants this year, 15 were given. We have a whole committee that vets them. We advertise publicly. Right. So everyone has a chance, and then we're reviewing them in a process that is highly, objective, and awarding grants with the intent of just simply supporting Jamaica. And anyone who gives to our Jamaica Strong Fund is supporting that. So there are many ways for you to give, but it starts off by saying you want to do something and find someone. Now, the other side of me, and you mentioned the Miami Foundation. If you want to give to Jamaica, I think we're one of a handful of really, really good options. If you just want to do good, and you heard, start something. Maybe if you're FIU or you're St. Thomas or you're Barry or whatever it is, go directly to your university. But even if you can't do that, consider the other resources you have. If you're in Dade County, you've got the Miami Foundation, which is a community foundation. So they have people working just to help you to be philanthropic, and they charge a very modest fee, and they manage $200-300 million. So that, and they've not lost it, so they're not going to lose your 100.
Right.
You have the Broward has a community foundation, and you can go to these organizations and say, I want to do good, and they have the structure to help you do good and still maintain a certain level of influence.
Now, are these the programs you're talking about? Like Chef Irie, for example, has the Food on Fire Foundation.
Exactly.
That he partnered with the Miami Foundation.
Exactly.
And created his own sub-foundation.
Exactly. So it's like a virtual foundation. It's like having a concierge work for your benefit, but that concierge focuses on philanthropy. Right. So they will collect the checks for you. They will update you. They will provide you the web link so that your friends can donate. My example, I have a private foundation through the Miami Foundation. I decided the Black Panther movie was coming out. I wanted to support and send some kids to go to the movie. I started off saying I would do 50. A friend heard me talk about it, said, well, can I get 50 as well?
Right.
Like, okay. And so he tweeted it out.
Right.
We ended up we raised enough money. I knew 6 of the people, maybe 40 people donated through the Miami Foundation, and we sent 670 people to see Black Panther. Right. 70 of those adults, 600 of them kids.
What kind of
That's I know,
I
right?
wouldn't have done that by myself, right? That was just I knew that someone was collecting the money, and they were going to do the accounting, and they were going to make sure that the individuals who donated get their 501c3, their tax deduction certificate. So those structures are there, and they are willing to do that for as modest as $500. Now, they would love for you to have $500,000, but they'll help you with $500.
Right. And it doesn't have to be these big, grandiose, you're building homes for, poor people all across the countryside and building hospitals.
I sent kids to a movie. You sent a good movie, a great movie, but I sent them to a movie.
Right. And that's the way that you did it it's charitable, but there's a philanthropic element there as well. So, awesomeness. Did we find any questions online, or just people going, great job?
Everybody is saying, oh, great conversation, good topic. Oh, this is fabulous. Nikki, any questions that you see that I'm not seeing on mine?
Okay, nobody's asking how can I get free tickets, because we told them like 3 or 4 or 5 times. It's go to islandoriginsmag.com and register as one of our subscribers, and we're going to choose one of you by the 11th of April.
Next Wednesday. We'll
Wednesday.
let you know.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Joy Sutherland. Do you know Joy? Okay. She's saying very inspiring and patriotic. So I thought that was very interesting, specifically naming you, Stacy. Obviously, there are a lot of other great comments, but that one was like sent to you, so I thought maybe it was your friend. Yeah. Just somebody who's inspired by you.
It was a plant. You planted that person.
It's not ringing a bell.
No. Okay. Yeah, and no. Thank you to both of you. How long do we have? What time are we at?
We have about 11 minutes.
What do we have time for? Some quick fire questions?
Quick fire questions.
All right, so we're on to the most important part of the Just kidding.
Oh my.
All right, so you have literally, because everybody keeps going, all right, you have literally 5 seconds to answer the question, all right? If you could meet any historical figure, who would you choose and why? Barron, go.
Bob Marley, because such a tremendous influence on our culture, and seen the music, never had the opportunity, and would love to chat with him.
Awesome.
Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Very inspiring is his story, his experiences of what he went through. I would love to meet him. Never been to Africa or anything like that, so it would have been great. Would be great, yes.
Would you like to go this week?
I go every week, so I guess I'll keep going. I would, you know what? Since I've been going all over the world, I'm gonna go Michael Manley this time. And even though I was in the same audience with him, I have never had an opportunity to really sit and talk to him. So he was around in my lifetime, but I really would have loved to understand more about his, let's just say, his political view on socialism and what his goals were for Jamaica and where they fell short. I would love to know.
All right, I'm going to go the fun way and say Michael Jackson so that I could touch his hair and see go. All right. So, if you could choose your age forever, David, I'm starting with you. If you could choose your age forever, what age would you choose and why?
If I could stay at one age forever? Yes. Wow. 5 seconds. I guess I'm going to say 27.
Okay.
That's like the supreme age. I love where I am today, but 27, I would say, for me, was like the perfect storm. I was just recently married. I was, like pursuing things that I didn't know how they would turn out, and things were still new, but yet I had a little bit of experience, and I felt good about that time.
Okay.
33.
Okay.
Because it's only 2 years younger than I am now.
There you go.
Show off, alright.
You believe that?
I did.
Okay, sorry, man.
You could pull it off. Yeah,
yes.
okay. I'm stuck. That's the entirety of your answer. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
I think if you're never going to age, I think 40 is a great age because you're young enough to be very vibrant, but you're also old enough to have a reasonable amount of wisdom and probably a good amount of influence. I think that's sort of peak for most people. Some people are advanced.
Right.
But 40 would be a good if you're not going to age.
Right.
40 is not great if you're
not
closer
going
to
Right.
other stuff.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna say 23 because I'm not feeling 40 right now. So, 23, I think somebody else was paying for everything, and I was just like enjoying life. So, but I'm still an adult. Yeah, that was the cool.
Somebody else was paying for your
Somebody else was paying for everything.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was a nice time. All right, so
That was a scholarship. That was one of those scholarships.
that was a life scholarship right there. If you were to change your name, Dr. Stacy, what would your new name be and why? Oh no, just what would your new name be?
I have no idea. I've never really thought of that. I like my name. I like Stacey Jan. That's my name.
No? Okay.
Never thought of it.
Well, I love my name, but if I had to change it, maybe James Channer, just because James is the family I grew up with. I'm the only Channer that's been I didn't grow up with my father's side of the family, so it'd be nice to have both of those legacies, and you could have a James Channer the second and a James Channer the third. That'd be interesting.
Right. Yeah, I would change my last name to Quest just because I think it's cool. Yeah, like Johnny Quest. Yeah. Okay.
I like that.
Thank you.
Calibe Quest. Calibe Quest.
I stole that from my older sister, by the way.
That could be
full disclosure.
Full disclosure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I changed my name a lot.
It's already sexy, man.
It's
so
sexy,
man.
But hold on. There is a change coming. It's going to be. So Sexy Man is a recent enough one.
Okay, yes.
But I think I'm going to go for Savings Man. The guy who tells you how to save your money.
I like that. That's the other show. That's the other show.
Sexy to saving.
That's right. I'm going to be Savings Man.
Okay, do the thing. All right, so Barron, if you were to create a slogan for your life, and I think this is going to be the last one because we're probably out of time for this. If you were going to create a slogan for your life, what would that slogan be? And if you want to take a few extra seconds to
Sure, well, easy for me. Make yourself happy and make the people who love you proud. Because that's just really my simple filter for what I do in life.
Right.
Wow,
Okay.
great.
I'm stealing the one from The Secret. Out of nothing and out of no way, a way will be made.
I like that.
I like that
That's how
one
you
also.
live.
Yep.
Calibe,
Yeah,
I know that's how you
You
live.
know it is, buddy. Yeah. All right. Your turn.
Before,
Going this way. We're going this
going-
way. You don't
oh,
notice the
okay.
pattern.
I didn't notice the pattern. Repeat the question?
If you
Find
were to
some
create
more
a
time.
slogan for your life, other than "I'm too sexy for my shirt,"
That's not going to be it. But
what would
okay.
your slogan be?
Well, I think my slogan already is do the things that make you happy and work really hard to do the best you can at them.
Okay. Okay.
I like it.
We'll go with that.
I would say just show up. Show up. Because you never know what can happen out of that. You know, when opportunities come up, you might meet someone that may lead to something else. Just show up. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend whose slogan is show up for your life.
Yeah, sure.
Literally.
That too.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's figure out the rest.
All right, so we are winding down now. I think we're in the last 5 minutes, so we're going to announce the upcoming events for this coming week and going forward. True Blue Weekend with the Jamaica College Old Boys.
Alumni Association.
Old Boys is April 6th and 7th, right? So it's True Blue. The True Blue Party with DJ Mark Swaby is 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. at the Grand Cafe and Lounge, and that I think is this Friday. I was just told that I'm going to be there. I was just told that I'm going to be there, so I guess I'm going to be there.
Did they tell you they're coming to pick you up too?
No, but I have to figure it out. And the True Blue Soccer Fest, there's 4 matches going on at Vizcaya Park. That's from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. On this Saturday. And that's all of that you can find information for at trueblueweekend.com. The Jamaica Charity Gala by the American Friends of Jamaica is happening April 14th. There is an after party or an after celebration or whatever you want to call it. It's just party all night long. It's just awesome, right? Music again by Richie D and
Alison
Alison
Hines
Hines.
feature. Yep.
Queen of Soul.
Good.
Yes,
Yes. She's
Roll
great.
it
She's a great
Yeah,
performer.
she's
Great.
And then Miami Web Fest, where I will of course be presenting along with Mr. Sexy Man and some of our other friends, Chef Irie, Chef Tia, etc. We will be there on the April the 27th, but the event goes from the 26th until the 29th. It's all over South Beach. The 2018 Synergy Summit for cultural and heritage tourism. It's by the Cultural Heritage, CHAT, Cultural Heritage Tourism Alliance. Yeah. So they do fabulous tours all over South Florida, both in Broward and in Dade, and they're talking about how you can kind of become more culturally engaged. And the all-inclusive, of course, Taste the Islands experience happening June 2nd.
I have my
Downtown
ticket.
Fort Lauderdale. You do?
Yeah.
Nah, you got the early bird pricing.
Yes.
All right. All right, that's almost half off, people. You missed it.
I'm going to stick in here because I didn't hear it mentioned. April 21st, that's not this Saturday or next Saturday. There is an event that you should be aware of. It's going to have the Jamaican comedians, Aiti and Fancy Cat. It's going to also have, quite spectacularly, some of the people that I like a lot. There'll be Christine Alicia performing, as well as other vocalists and other comedians, including Blacka Ellis. So that's a very interesting event. Check it out. If you go to, what's the name of this site we all use? Eventbrite.
Yeah.
You can look it up. Just
Yeah.
type in any of the performers' names. It's
And that's-
April 21st.
And that's by our friend Dr. Sue. So
Dr.
you
Sue.
definitely want to support that one.
Absolutely.
And finally, another friend of ours is promoting an event called a Brides Expo in Fort Lauderdale. It's all about destination weddings and honeymoon travel on June 24th. June 24th. All right, at somewhere in Fort Lauderdale. What's the website, guys?
It's like the Racket Club.
bridesexpo.com.
bridesexpo.com. Remember, if you want to advertise in the upcoming issue of Island Origins, time is running out. You do need to get in touch with us. You can go to islandoriginsmag.com/advertise. If you want to advertise in this show, you can do that as well. Are we at...
We still have 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
To be fabulous.
We're gonna keep on
Yeah.
going with the conversation.
Keep it
All right.
running.
So what else? How are we gonna wrap it up, David?
But we're going to change the course. We've talked about all this charitable stuff.
Okay.
We're going to ask him some personal questions.
Oh,
Sorry, guys. Take it away. All right.
That response means I will not continue on that.
I think you
I'm not pressuring anybody, but
Fair enough.
so where are you guys in your lives? What's going on? What's your status?
Are you dating each other?
Happy?
Yeah.
What? You just met today.
Sorry, just asking.
That's a very
I'm
forward
just
thinking.
busy.
Exactly.
I'm busy.
It's so interesting. They're both
I'm so
busy. You see
busy.
this? Imagine three on their individual cameras. Like zoom on them. They're just busy. Saturday mornings could be different.
It's not every Saturday.
I like that. No, listen. Just like both of you, I also do a lot.
You do a lot.
It's not even funny. But I try, don't I try? I try to make space for personal life.
No, I do that. Balance. I think I balance life very well and travel and hang out with my friends and so forth. So I think I do a good job at that. But I'm busy.
Which everyone's busy doing something. The question
Yeah.
is, hopefully you enjoy it, and are you compelled to do it or not, right?
Absolutely.
And so, similarly, it's about building the real estate business, which is a big business.
Congratulations, by the way. I just love you continue to grow and do fantastic things.
And we need to hear your story one day because I heard a piece of it.
Yeah, we should talk about
at
it.
one point, and it's a very inspiring story.
Yeah.
So we need.
And last thing I would say is, listen, these boards that I'm on, a good number of them feed my soul, right? You know, when you're on the board of the Perez Art Museum, you don't miss an art show if you choose not to. So I get to learn and be exposed to art.
Fantastic.
The Money Foundation exposes me to Miami. So some of these things, it's about finding ways to recreate and connect to people that you can also happen to do good, but it just happens by way of you being there and being engaged, but you're getting something from it, right?
Absolutely.
It isn't always draining. Sometimes it's recharging.
Right. Our producer is trying to now after we went finished before, now we're just trying to wrap it up.
I do want to plug again though that there's an FJ Hummingbird Gala as well in New York.
In New York in November, the date is not yet set, but if you go to theafj.org, we also will be having, we had the first edition of a Jamaican winter in New York, and so in December, 2 weeks before Christmas at the Soho House, we had a very festive and fun occasion. Their dancehall DJ, appetizers, we'll be doing that again in New York and likely taking something like that to other cities.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. All right. So that's it for us this evening. Thank you very much to our guest, Barron Channer, Dr. Stacy Jan Oddman. Of course, I'm your host, Calibe. This is my partner, Mr. Sexy Man.
Now the new sexy savings man.
Save the sexy.
I can't, but
Save the
saving is
sexy.
sexy.
Save the
That's your
sexy.
slogan.
Savings is
That's
sexy.
your slogan, right? Savings is sexy. All right.
Have a
So
good night.
follow us on Island Origins Live, and we will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here.
It's gonna